Welcome to episode 5.
In this episode, we'll be bringing you a special behind-the-scenes report from Japan.
I'll be bringing you another in our Deadly Sins of Tenkara series.
We'll also reveal why there hasn't been any fly tying in Tenkara in Focus yet.
We've got a great interview with Megumi Hirata.
But first, here's some fishing. Welcome to Tenkara in Focus.
First up, as usual, a big thanks to everyone for the likes, the shares, the comments, and a particular thanks to those who downloaded our paid media. Without you, this is not possible.
Yeah, big thanks to you guys for that. First up though, in this episode, we've got a fantastic interview with Megumi Hirata. Now, Megumi is probably the first female Tenkara angler that we've really featured in any detail in these episodes. And what's interesting, or what I found fascinating actually following around and taking some footage of her, was just how deep her knowledge was of the native plants of Japan and the whole surroundings.
Yeah, she's almost like that Victorian naturalist.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely that. And, you know, her knowledge of that is incredible. But Tenkara is only a part of that whole ecosystem sort of experience, I think. So she definitely connects with nature. It's a great interview. Check it out here.
Hi. 私は平田めぐみと申します。神奈川県の、出身です。
So, Megumi Hirata is her name from Kanagawa Prefecture. Same as mine. 同じですよね。
はい、山登りを私はしてまして、でその仲間に釣りをしている友達がいました。でその彼が、テンカラをしてたので、そこでテンカラというものは知っていました。
So she used to hike, and she used to hike in groups, and one of her hiking friends fished Tenkara, and that's how she was introduced to it. Sorry.
ね。はい。これは、日本のメーカーが作った竿で、途中でこうズームもできる竿ですね。
シマノですよね。
はい、そうですね。
シマノ、渓流 ZL、ズームロッド。ラインは
レベルラインを使ってます。
フローロカーボンですよね。
はい、そうですね。
フローロカーボンlevel line. I don't think it's commercially sold in Japan. これ日本では売ってない。
そうですね。はい。
It's that pink line, and she knows somebody that it's made in Japan, but it's made for sales overseas. So she knows somebody that re-imports that line. So she uses that.
こんな感じですね。
It's pink.
ピンクです。はい。
毛針について教えてほしいそうなんですが、どんな毛針を使うか。どうしてそれを使うか。
なるほど。実は私毛針作りは一回習ったんですけれども、自分では作っていないんですね。で、皆さんからいろいろもらって、こんな時にはこんなのがいいですよって言われたのをその通りに使ってます。
So she doesn't tie flies herself. She's been taught once, but she doesn't do it, and she has lots of people giving her flies, recommending certain flies for certain situations. So she just follows the instructions given.
はい、そうです。なるほど。私は一番いい時期だと魚がこう水の上にヒュッと出てきて くっていうあの感覚が好きで、それで魚を釣りたい。なので大きさとかではなくって、いかにも今私の毛針に騙されて魚釣れちゃったっていうあの感覚が楽しいですね。
So it's not about the size. In heart of the season, fish would come to the surface and take the fly and turn and make that splash, and she gets great excitement from the feeling that you were able to trick the fish.
そうですね。まず魚っていうのもそうですし、自然、その季節にどんな風にどんな魚を釣るのかなっていうのがやっぱり楽しいので、四季のある日本の自然の良さっていうのを感じられるかなと。でその中でね魚を釣るっていうのが楽しいかなと思いますね。
So when you're out in the field, it's not, yes, of course there's the fish, but then there's the surrounding, the environment and season changing. So from season to season, there's different fish that can be caught in different ways, and you can enjoy everything all together. Yes.
はい、
お疲れ様です。
どうもありがとうございます。
Up next, JP is going to take you through another deadly sin of Tenkara, so pay attention to this one.
Welcome to another instalment in our Deadly Sins of Tenkara series. In this episode we're going to be focusing on manipulations, and in particular the rhythm in your manipulations. One of the key mistakes we see in people that are new to manipulating flies is to impart quite erratic kind of movement and manipulation in the fly. So they'll often cast out, shake the rod tip in varying degrees. Some people are quite gentle, some are overly aggressive, but it's this erratic kind of shaking. If you look at the fly, it's kind of jumping and dancing in all different sort of ways, but there's never really a rhythm there. If you can establish a predictable rhythm, particularly on quite long pulses where the fly is moving in this sort of fashion, the trout seem to really key in on that rhythm, and they time the strike probably on the pause. If you go from the erratic manipulations to the predictable rhythms, you get many more strikes on your fly. I think that if you do the erratic manipulations, we sometimes see strikes, but often the fish are missing the fly. That nice rhythmic timing does seem to get more hookups. But even right down to the very tiniest manipulations where you're just gently flickering the fly in the surface, they seem to key in on that predictable rhythm rather than the erratic shaking. So I can give you a couple of examples. Just try and pitch a casting that you can see from the camera. That sort of erratic shaking gets the fly dancing and jumping. I am over-egging things a bit just to demonstrate, but you never really get anything predictable. Now this could be upstream, across stream or downstream, it doesn't really matter, but that real sort of strong wiggles or pulses of the rod like this, that erratic movement is not ideal in your manipulation. Again, like with many of the sins that we've looked at so far, you'll still get the odd fish taking your fly. These are not things that completely stop you from catching fish. They're just things that could be better, that could be improved. And if you can get that nice, predictable rhythm, it'll result in many more takes. So we'll move up just a short way and put some casts in with a nice, predictable rhythm, and we'll see if we can get a few fish. Well, it don't get much quicker than the first cast, does it? He didn't need much telling. He's gone round some weeds, so I'm going to just hand him out rather than net him. There we go. Picked up a bit of moss as he went round a rock. He meant having that. So, as we can see, they really do like that rhythmic pulse. That time I was doing what we've named Ashtapazuri, and if you check around on our website you'll see much more about that, and we'll probably end up featuring some Ashtapazuri in this YouTube series. But the long and the short of it is a gentle tapping on the blank of the rod to give very delicate manipulation. I saw this fish chasing emerging flies, just missing one as it left the water. There we go, another lovely fish. Okay, I saw another fish in there, so just going to give it another quick cast through. There we go. A little bit stronger manipulation that time. It's only a small one, so try get him by hand. Oh, fish. Small but feisty. Lovely little fish. There we go. Nice.
So, looked like some great fishing on that day out.
Yeah, the river was in really great condition, and the fish seemed to really be keyed in on that manipulation. Dean behind the camera will attest to this. Those 3 fish captures, I don't think I had many more than a dozen casts. Fish on the first proper cast, a few more casts into the next spot, another fish, and I'd seen a fish moving as I took that fish, so I went straight back, 2 or 3 casts again, and yeah, 3 fish in almost as many minutes.
I suppose in many ways, when you've got feeding fish like that, that's a pretty typical Tenkara experience because of the rate that you cover the water and then making every cast count and that kind of thing. You guys might be interested. I don't know if you've been over to our webpage. JP's got a guiding page on there, so if you want some of that one-to-one input and to get that real sort of skills tune up, to cast off some of that extraneous material that might be stopping you from catching those extra fish, check it out on the page. We'll stick a link up in the usual way on the YouTube video, and I'll bang a link below it if it's embedded in any of our sort of sites as well. But yeah, go and have a look at that. You can get some in-person tune-ups from JP, and you'll really benefit from that for sure.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take you out. If you're interested in the manipulations and you want to sort of get a fix right now, if you didn't catch it in episode 2, Paul put together a fantastic package on manipulation featuring video and a 40-odd page ebook, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it weighed in at 41 pages on the nose. So
yeah, it's quite a well, for a little download, there's a lot in there.
Try to sort of pack it in, but keep it all, basically keep everything so that people can stay right on track with success. So rather than kind of getting it 80% right, just having those perfect kind of course corrections to keep people going straight towards improving their fishing with everything, every tip that's in there.
We've had some great feedback on that. I think it's been our most popular download so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, looking at stats,
Yeah, and a lot of people, as with all our downloads, a lot of people have been saying the PDF and the video seem to work really well together. You watch the video, most people watch the video first, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to watch the fishing.
Yeah.
And then you read the PDF and you say, oh, I recognise that from the video. Oh, I didn't pick that bit up. And you sort of go through realising what you did see and what you didn't see. You then go back to the video and there's a moment where there's like a click.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
yeah, I get that now.
And I think there seems to be definitely quite a strong fascination with the manipulations within Tenkara,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it is more unusual compared to the
Yeah.
nymphing styles that we have over in the West and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I think whether you're a nymph angler or a Western style angler, or whether you're a Tenkara angler, there seems to be something about manipulations that really capture the imagination, and people
Yeah.
want that skill set. So that's really why I designed the tooth. And you're dead right. I designed them to work to the strengths of the written material and the diagrams, pull out the strengths of that kind of medium. And then obviously there's certain things in video that you just can't do in print.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you take the best bits of both of those.
Yeah. There'll be links on screen now, so if you didn't catch it in episode 2, you can get hold of the manipulations bundle now on the links on screen. I can't recommend it highly enough. We've been playing around with manipulations for a while. Everyone I've taken out on stream that's learnt about this has had some fantastic results. The takes you get from manipulations just seem that bit more aggressive as well. You're in sort of very tight
Yeah.
contact quite often.
When they're in the mood, it's just absolutely dynamite.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
the thing, it's the method.
Yeah, check it out.
You might remember from the end of the last episode that Go Ishii promised a special report from Japan.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got coming up next.
Yeah, Go went along to the Yokohama Fishing Show, which is the first big show in Japan, the first big show of the year.
It's a massive event as well.
Yeah, you'll see on the video. Go went along just using his camera phone. So it's sort of gonzo journalism at its truest, really. Very sort of immersive feel, but it took a bit of editing and, a bit of...
I was going to say, I know that, from just the conversation we've had over the last week, working with phone footage clips in a professional video, it's not the easiest thing. There's tons and tons of extra steps, so it takes a while to pull out the stuff from it. And it's never quite the same as the...
But Go's done a fantastic job. What he's brought us, the little insight not only into what's going on at the show, but that sort of, again, the Tenkara community.
Yeah, he's gone full gonzo, like we said, I think. It's like...
Check it out. It's a great little report.
What's up, everybody? This is Go Ishii.
And Isaac Tate,
We're reporting for Tenkara in Focus from Yokohama, Japan. So we're here to check out Japan Fishing Show 2017. Well, this is one of the 2 largest fishing events that take place annually in Japan. The other one will be in Osaka next month, but this is the first one of the year, and all the companies look to introduce their new line of products at this event.
hello everyone. This is my first time at the Japan Fishing Show, and I'm pretty excited to see all the different companies and gear and all the different fishing styles that are going to be represented here at the show today. There's a lot of companies here, some of the bigger ones like Shimano, Daiwa, or Gamakatsu, and some of the smaller companies like Nishin, Genru, Oder, Tinko, just to name a few. So let's go see how much Tenkara we can find from the show today.
Check out the Shimano booth. It's huge. I'm at a Shimano booth with all these rods and products. Let's see how many Tenkara rods do you see? Just 3. Just 3 Tenkara rods. It is just incredible how popular lure fishing is in Japan. So, lots of bass, catfish, even trout, and saltwater. So Tenryu, they're actually more known for their lure fishing spin rods and bait fishing rods. And They have 2 Tenkara rods. Many think that Tenryu makes the best blanks in all of the companies in Japan, but it doesn't necessarily mean though that they'll have the action that you like. But I guess these are pretty popular. They are called Furaibo. What do you think? They're nice? Okay. They're pricey.
7,000 yen.
I know they're expensive. So, gamakatsu, they make them in 3 different lengths. 4, 4.5, and 5 meters. Pretty expensive too. $400 and up, but it is the only company right now making a Tenkara rod in 5 meters. So, Fujino, they're doing a lot of Tenkara lines, specializing in nylon taper lines. And right there. So we've got Sebata-san, Yoshida-san, Kuragami-san, and Ishigaki-sensei.
Never heard?
So this is at the publisher Suribito's booth. It's unfortunate they have the Basser banner on. No kidding, right?
Yeah.
But you know, what can you do? We'll take it. So there's Sebata-san. So these are Ayu flies. And he's tying them on site here as well. But they are tiny. So you can catch Ayu up to like 30 centimeters with this rig. They're all barbless. So you have the weight on the bottom. So this is a method of fly fishing for Ayu called dobutsuri. This method, perhaps centuries old. He's gonna. So you can pick 3 flies that you want. He's gonna give them to you as presents. So we got done with the show. We're sitting inside an izakaya with a bunch of people, and it just reminds me of one of the reasons why I love Tenkara so much is, you know, we have about 13 people here, but some of us have never met, some of us have only heard about each other, but we can all sit around the circle. You're gonna be so jealous. We got
Mushu-san. Koike-san. Next to Koike-san is so there's Shibata-san. There's Yamano-san in the back. And there's Okushi-san. There's Isaac. And the drunk Kurasa. So this is to wrap up. Wonderful day at the show. Tenkara, not such a strong presence in terms of equipment and gear, but community and the strength, the tie is what makes it great. Okay, so thank you for watching Tenkara in Focus. That was Go Ishii and everybody else. Bye bye.
A massive thanks to Go and Isaac there for that report. I know it wasn't easy on the day. I had a chat via Skype with Go the evening after that show. It runs over several days and he was worrying that he would have to go back to shoot some more because I don't know if you could really tell from the footage, but it was incredibly crowded. He said he was getting jostled all the time. He was trying to film. He was
it's like one of the battle scenes from the Lord of the Rings or something, I think, wasn't it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just insanely busy, apparently. I mean, it was massive, wasn't it? And he was meeting people all the time, so he said he was trying to film and there were people coming up and saying hi. I mean, Megumi Hirata
she popped up right behind him. I think she jabbed him in the ribs or something.
Yeah,
when
he
you
started laughing,
audio.
didn't he? So he apparently was getting that all day. So he was worried we wouldn't be able to make a report out of it. But you've just seen it. It speaks for itself. So well done, Go and Isaac. And massive, massive thanks.
Fantastic job, yeah. Okay, last up, we've got a bit of a discussion on fly tying and why it's absent largely from the Tenkara in Focus episodes that we've seen so far. If you belong to the Facebook group, you'll already know a little bit what I'm talking about because we had a poll recently just to see how we were doing in terms of the content and giving you guys the chance to actually shape the future of the season and then future episodes beyond that as well.
Yeah, we've had a few inquiries as well, you know, people saying, why haven't you featured any fly tying? When we started this, I'd certainly got quite a strong vision of what we would cover in Tenkara in Focus. And to be perfectly honest, fly tying in Tenkara's almost been done to death. It seems to be one of the easiest things that you can video and share on YouTube is tying a fly. So a lot of people have done it already. And we wanted to kind of get away from that sort of disembodied voice behind a vice showing fly tying.
I think as well it can either really turn people on to that subject or it can be a real turn off as well. 'Cause if you don't tie or you're not so bothered about fly design aspects, then it's either it's there for you or it's I might as well sort of watch something else at that point.
There is lots of fly tying out there already. Another reason is some people get just bored by fly tying. You know, not everyone's a fly tyer. So for those of you that don't tie, I hope you're enjoying the show and enjoying the fishing and the interviews. But there's a third sort of massive reason why we've not covered fly tying in Tenkara in any depth at all in Tenkara in Focus. And that's because we spent over 2 years producing 2 DVDs and an ebook on the subject of kibari. And we really, really seriously investigated with many, many Japanese anglers. We've featured fly tying, we've featured discussions, we've featured dozens and dozens of different fly patterns, some fly patterns that have never been shown anywhere else before. So in Volume 1 and Volume 2 we travelled to Japan, and the kinds of things that you've seen in Tenkara in Focus we do in even more depth in those 2 DVDs, don't we?
Yeah, it's actually Volume 2 and 3, but we'll let that go.
Yeah, it is Volume 2. And for those of you
so much work.
that have not seen Volume 1, we'll put a picture up on screen now. That features some great fishing. The 2 volumes are...
The thing is that, yes, because we spent so much effort doing, it's multiple trips to Japan, what we've got in those DVDs is that experience of having the master sat in your front room actually going through not only the tying of it, but it's like we're picking apart the background to it as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just the what, it's the why.
Yeah.
And having produced all that, it just seems daft to kind of throw that into the YouTube thing as well, because it's already there as a body of work.
And you tend to need to spend a little more time on each piece of the subject matter to get the full context. And the kind of format we have in this YouTube show, we're kind of jumping around quite quickly. There's a little report from here, there's a bit of fishing from there. And to do the history and the culture around the flies some justice, it needs to be a little more in-depth than that.
Yeah, just the approach of going there, trying not to have too many preconceptions, because we've got quite a narrow perspective. If you had the English language information that was available before we went to Japan on kibari, like Sakasa kibari, for example.
It was almost all Sakasa kibari, wasn't it? Everybody was saying Sakasa kibari is the Tenkara fly.
And you can understand, I mean, they're iconic looking things.
Yeah,
you know,
in terms of the look, it looks, people associate it immediately with Tenkara. But we found it was probably less than 25% of the patterns in use in Japan, and about the same sort of proportion of historic patterns.
Yeah.
So the Sakasa kibari, it turns out, isn't the main fly of Tenkara. And if you watch the DVDs, you'll find out why. But beyond the DVDs, which took a hell of a lot of work, multiple trips to Japan over a couple of years, we put together an ebook, what's the sort of page count? It's 400 and...
It's a lot of pictures, but it's like 481, I think, pages that weighs in at. But a lot of full-page glossy photos of the details of the patterns.
There's a fantastic sort of catalogue of patterns and the materials. So if you're into your fly recipes, there's a good proportion of that. But then the meat of the text in the book is just incredible. You want to tell us more?
That's very kind of you to say that, but I think what I was trying to do mainly with the tools that I try and give people in the ebook is breaking things down from a sea of complexity into real, simple, logical steps that you can actually apply.
Yeah.
So you can take the conditions on stream and you can look at what that needs, what that makes you have to do in order to get your fly in front of a fish and to make that fly perform in a way that's attractive to that fish.
Yeah.
But that's changing all the time. That changes according to conditions. How do you cope with that complexity? So we came up with this idea I was actually inspired by John's editing suite with the control dials and the sliders that you have on the console. And we sort of break it down to just about 4 or 5 simple slider controls that let you account for the conditions. It keys you in on the size of the fly, and in fact, if you do nothing else but get the size of the fly right, you're a long way there.
That sums up a lot of the philosophy in Tenkara, really.
Yeah.
They definitely, as a sort of, if you took all Tenkara anglers historically and modern in Japan, there's definitely a culture that's not the match the hatch mentality. They have very different considerations about fly choice than matching particular hatching insects.
Yeah, and I think with my biological background, there's actually good biological reasons for that. That sort of prey image idea that we sort of explain in the book.
Yeah, I suppose the overarching theme in all of the investigations that we had, all the interviews, everything we've uncovered from Japanese Tenkara culture, fly choice is definitely not that match the hatch mentality, but the fly pattern, the materials, they're intertwined with the way the fly's presented, the way it interacts with the river or even the wind, or the casting.
And the angler as well. It's all those things together. I mean, it's fair to say that they have to look just enough like food, but once that box ticked, it's exactly what you were saying. It's marrying that form to that function.
Yeah.
And there's just a whole catalogue of those techniques that we've uncovered in the material that we've produced. So if you want to have a look on the screen just now, there'll be a link to the downloadable versions of the ebook and those 2 volumes of the DVD, the high-definition MP4 downloads. But some recent news is that we've now actually got the physical discs are available to ship from within the US through Tenkara Bum. So if you go over to Chris Stewart's site, to get my teeth in, tenkarabum.com, and you'll get it shipped within the US, and obviously it's charged in US dollars, so it just makes it real easy. There's no friction there at all.
No import or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in Europe or UK or rest of the world even, head over to our website, I'm sure link will be on the screen or in description somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can get physical copies of the DVDs as well. If you've not seen any of our DVDs or our downloads, or you've not read the ebook, there's a great chance now to get a sample of it for just $1 or £1, depending on where you are. We've put together 3 chapters, 1 chapter from each of our 3 DVD volumes, and the first chapter of the ebook running at around 50 pages.
Yeah, that's right.
That's in a download package for £1 or $1. If you follow the link on screen now, it'll take you through. Check that out. Trust us, if you don't think that's $1 worth, I'll give you your money back.
So there we go. Episode 5 in the can.
Season 1, episode 5. We're probably halfway there now.
I know, crazy. It's flying, isn't it? All that remains to say is huge thanks to everybody, again, that's downloaded our stuff, the premium downloads. It lets us do this, so thank you for that. Also, big thanks to everyone that's joined in the discussions, actually shaping the episodes through contributing on the Facebook page. That's brilliant. Big news, which I almost forgot, is that we've just opened up the blog comments on our blog pages, so that you don't have to go through the rigmarole of creating an account. We were finding that it was just putting too many people off from contributing to that conversation.
So you can just type your comment and it's good to go.
Yeah. And it's open for about a month before we kind of like close it off again. But yeah, anything that comes up on the blog pages, jump in there and comment. If you don't already get our free email tuition, I think you're crazy. So go
link
ahead.
on screen right now.
Yeah. Go ahead and get all that good stuff. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks. Hello. No, I said don't forget your fly tying bobbin.